Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Diablo Ark Hull. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of this Ark Hull. But before we jump into that, let's run through quickly what you need to exchange for this Ark Hull. So you need the jewelry piece, Eye of Abyss. You need the weapon Destruction, and you need the body piece, Body of Phoenix. And these three items typically are released together in one event called the Diablo Ark Hull event. If you have not yet gotten that event in your server, be patient. It's on its way. If the event has already passed and you weren't able to get the Ark Hull, it's fine. It'll come back around another time. Just hold on to your gold, hold on to your Ace of Galaxy tokens, and hang on to your super equipment chests. Okay, so let's jump into it. So let's start off with the pros, and the main pro for this specific Ark Hull is that it's a great PvE Ark Hull. Now, by PvE stands for Player versus Environment. It's just an acronym that describes situations where you fight against monsters and that kind of thing. So, soldier tier suppression is the very first stat that we see here, and this is great for farming monsters, especially if you have at least T7. Of course, the higher tier you have, the more you'll benefit off of this soldier tier suppression, because up to level 13s, it's just T4. Okay, so that'll be great. That's three tiers above. So 3 times 6, that's an 18% instant damage reduction from them to you, and 18% increased damage to them. So that's great. Now, the marching speed is also amazing, because marching speed is a fantastic buff in this game, and to have it from an Ark Hull is great. Instead of having to just rely on the buffs here, the marching speed buff, which you have a limited supply, right? You can run out and you have to just buy more with gold. But just having it from the Ark Hull, it's great. You just gotta activate the Ark Hull, boom, you have the marching speed. Now, the marching speed is great for so many different scenarios in PvE. For example, it makes your faction quest go by a lot faster, and there are some events that will come around that require marching speed. Well, it won't require it, but it'll help you. It'll change the game. And a good example of this was the most recent Christmas event, where if you guys noticed, the level 11, at least level 11 Terorpians and above, had a chance of dropping one of those stockings, which you could have exchanged for food parts, shadow matter, or magazines. So your limiting factor in that scenario was how long you can go, right? That was the limiting factor where was the amount of commanders you had, and your energy. So if you were able to just keep grinding and just keep killing those monsters, the marching speed would make that process much faster, and you'd be able to farm a lot more monsters than if you didn't have the marching speed. So I didn't have the Diablo hole at that time, and I wish I did. But that event has passed now, so I have it. I have the Diablo Ark Hole now. So the marching speed is there, so that's great. So again, marching speed, great for PvE events and for faction quests and things like that. Or you can even use the marching speed to, let's say, beat someone to a tile, right? So, and then the soldier carry capacity. I think this is also a great a great pro for this Ark Hole. And so, just to quickly describe what soldier carry capacity is, see, when I started playing the game, I thought that soldier carry capacity was a stat that allowed your commander to carry more troops, all right? Like leadership. but that is not the case. Okay, soldier carry capacity is essentially the ability of your troops, of your soldiers, to carry more resources and or shadow matter. Okay, so each individual unit carries more, which means that you can send less units to a resource tile and still gather more than. So just to showcase that, here I have an example. So right now I don't have I don't have Diablo activated, and I'm farming a level 3 wreckage enriched, and as you can see, the maximum I can farm from this tile before it gets drained is 70.5k. Now if you look at how much I'm gathering, I'm only able to gather 22.5k because I only have 3 bastion here. Okay, but if I go back and I activate Diablo Ark Hull, select, so now the carry capacity is now active. So instead of carrying 22.5k, I can now carry 45k. So carry capacity is great in general to farm with less troops, and it's especially great for kill events. Okay, if you, let's say you want to farm during kill events and you don't want to be punished as much if someone hits your tile, and that's fine. You can just activate a carry capacity hull, in this case Diablo, and you can send less troops but still gather a lot more. Okay, so that's the pros, guys. So essentially, all in all, great PvE hull. Now that leads me into the cons. Terrible PvP hull. Okay, now there is one counter argument to that statement, which is the soldier tier suppression. Now, I understand that soldier tier suppression is great for any person who knows that they have the tier advantage against their enemy. Okay, but that situation is very conditional. All right, and even if you are, let's say, the boss of your server, that's not going to last forever. Okay, there will always be someone who comes up, catches up to you. Okay, so yes, I do agree with the argument that the soldier tier suppression stat on Diablo is great for those situations, but that's not always the case. Okay, so moving on from that, the attack accuracy and crit damage, like in general, those are great stats to have, but the starting stat on this hull is only 20%, so it only scales at 2 per level. Which leads me into the next con, which is the soldier tier suppression not increasing with level. Okay, so as you can see, I have it here at level 2 already. If I try to upgrade it, you see that there is no green text from Diablo level 2 to level 3 for the tier suppression. It stays at level 6. The only thing that levels up is the attack, accuracy, and crit damage. Okay, so that, I think that's a huge con to this hull, especially if you were considering this to be a combat hull, a PvP hull. So yeah, guys. So I recommend, this is my personal view. I don't think it's worth upgrading Diablo at all, like whatsoever. Diablo again is a great PvE hull that can be where you can use the tier suppression, the march speed, and the carry capacity in many different situations. But in my opinion, Diablo should never be used in PvP unless, of course, there's that asterisk, unless you know that you're fighting, like, let's say tier 2, and you want to get that extra tier suppression in so that you take 0 damage. Okay? But overall, guys, Diablo is a great hull. I have it at level 2. I don't plan on leveling it up any more than this unless I get my other priority arc holes up. But you should level up other arc holes before you consider dumping Melange into Diablo. So, but overall, like I said, guys, great hull. I highly recommend that you should get this hull. When those Christmas-like events come by, you have the marching speed, you have the soldier tier suppression, so you can use your high tier units to power farm. Okay, So guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one. All right, bye.